out of office. The Washington Post feels secure enough to admit
Once again,
that there was widely reported in almost every major outlet about the President of the United States picking up the phone and berating Georgia officials to make up a fraud story. Turns out to be fake news. Remember this.
ABC News confirming a Washington Post report revealing that President Trump pressuring them to, and I quote, find the fraud.
Asking that person to find the fraud. And
to, quote, find the fraud, saying that that official would be, quote, a national hero.
this isn't surprising at all.
We'll dig into new reporting out of Georgia that could mean even more legal trouble for the president.
Second call to another elections official in your state to, quote, find the fraud.
The president apparently pressuring that investigator to find the fraud.
Now we are also learning of another call, first reported by the Washington Post, and urged him to, quote, find the fraud.
Quote, find the fraud, adding that if they did so, they would be a, quote, national hero.
By the way, it would have been. If they found out there was fraudulent things going on in the election, they would have been national heroes. But it turns out the president never said that. Here's a quote from a lengthy correction from the Washington Post. The recording revealed that the Post misquoted Trump's comments on the call. Based on information provided by the source, Trump did not tell the investigator to find the fraud or say she would be a national hero if she did so. Trump urged the investigator to scrutinize ballots in Fulton County, asserting she would find dishonesty there. He also told her that she had the most important job in the country right now. There's nothing wrong with any of those statements. But how did CNN go and confirm a story that didn't happen, right? You go find the fraud.
CNN's talented.
the Washington Post, right? And they're given these conjured up quotes. And it comes from a nefarious source. Does this all sound familiar? And it's not Deep Throat we're talking about here. It's a political operative that had an agenda. It's kind of like, you know, you go to the beach and you throw up food to seagulls, and the seagull doesn't really check what the food is exactly. They just eat it up. They gobble it up. And that's what happens with the media so often during the Trump era. We had all these unnamed source stories that only seem to go in one direction, negative towards the 45th president. In these situations, the allegation gets 1,000 times the play. Remember how much coverage this particular story got. Then the exoneration.
This is what happens when you rely on sources that don't give you the information to back up the information that they're delivering to the public. I have sources as reporting that I do with the police departments, down on the ground. But one thing I always require them to do is to give me the information, whether it's recordings, documents, so I can cover my tail when I go and talk to you as audience members.
Get the facts.
They didn't do that because they would have gotten this right. But
That's
again,
what they're doing for Como. Waiting on the facts, ain't it?
Remember that big book, Anonymous? This guy was supposed to be a senior White House official. Comes out, he's just a little aide. Okay? They did this in the entire administration. No accountability until after the election, of course.
Well, where the executive that he was...
Could you imagine 7 women coming forth saying Trump sexually assaulted him?
Listen to the tape. Why is the tape just now coming out? Here we are at the end of March. The election in Georgia was in January, and that news broke that he allegedly said that before the election. It could have changed the election results because every news outlet was reporting that that's what he said when he didn't.
Maybe. I would say that's valid too, Ainsley, but I also think too they found the recording and now they had to admit it. Meanwhile, the president came out with a lengthy statement, but here's a quick excerpt. You'll notice the establishment media errors, omissions, mistakes, and outright lies always slant one way against me.
Cannot fucking believe that shit, man.
I don't ever remember it cutting the other direction. Meanwhile, Jillian Mealy, doesn't slant, she reads, she talks.
I do talk, yes. Good morning. Let me talk now and read your headlines.
Anyhow, I just wanted you guys to see that. If anybody even watches it. Take care. Bye-bye now.